Oh, hey there. So the Bible says, God is not mocked. For whatever you sow, you'll reap. Now, we're not an agricultural society, and so we probably don't fully understand this. Like if I plant a certain type of a seed and then I water it and maintain it and put it in the right climate and all those things, then eventually it will grow and it will produce fruit of whatever kind of plant that may be. Now, imagine that a farmer goes and sows seed generously all day long across all of his crops, just seeds everywhere, okay, in the proper way. I'm not a farmer. And then he takes a shower, goes to bed, wakes up the next morning, looks out his window. Nothing. What a complete waste of my time. And then gives up. But the farmer's smarter than that, okay? The farmer knows it takes time for things to grow. And so as time passes, he looks out his window and he goes, oh, look, it's starting to sprout up out of the ground. That's a good sign. And then more time passes, he's like, oh, look, it's growing bigger and it's 3 or 4 feet tall. And then after a while, I go, oh, look, I've got fruit of whatever kind of fruit that I planted. And they're smart like that because they understand that whatever you sow, you will reap. Now, we are an instant gratification society, okay? And we don't really understand this concept because we're dum-dums. So a couple things happen. Imagine somebody decides, I want to do good things, okay? And then they try to do some good things for a minute and don't give it time to grow fruit. They don't give it time to take root. And maybe they take a shower and they wake up in the morning and they look out their window and they go, see, doing good doesn't make any difference. I'm giving up. I'm not doing good stuff ever again. I tried it once. And you're like, you got to give it time. Now, imagine that somebody does a bad thing and then they go to sleep, they wake up, they look out their window. See, no consequences. There are no consequences for the bad thing I did. Therefore, what difference does it make? So I should continue to do these bad things. In fact, it will probably snowball into worse and worse things, and I will become a monster. Okay? But they don't think that far ahead. They just look and go, see, there's no consequences. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do. But it does matter. It does matter what we do. Like, no matter what you think, no matter what you've been told, no matter what lies you consumed that let you continue to do horrible things, whatever you sow, you will reap. Now, our pastor this last week at church was talking. There's a museum, and they've got 1 grain of wheat, okay? And it's sitting in this case, and there's 64 empty boxes. It says, if this 1 grain of wheat were to double, so on your second box, you got 2 grains of wheat, and then 4, and then 8, and 16, and so on, how many grains of wheat would there be after 64 doublings? Okay. I'm going to spare you guys the time it would take to do the math and just tell you that if you doubled it 64 times, if you had 1 grain of wheat and you double that 64 times, you would have enough wheat to cover the country of India 6 feet deep. That is how this works, okay? If you start and you do good things and you make a habit of it and you continue to do good things, you follow God with all of your heart, and anything he says, do this, you do it. Anything he says, don't do it, you don't do it. Pretty soon you're like, my blessings are so deep, I can't contain it. The country can't hold it, okay? And the ripples off of those good things carry on throughout eternity. And you are blessing everybody around you. You can't possibly eat that much wheat. In lifetimes, you couldn't. And so then you're generous and you share it with other people because you're like, I've got more than enough. If you continue to do bad things and think there is no consequence, and that doubles 64 times, you are so deep in it that there is no escape. And I guess what I'm saying to you is this: whatever you sow, you'll reap. So be careful what you sow. Be careful the things that you plan into life. And it happens without you noticing it, unless you're intentional. Unless you go, I want to do a good thing and I will continue to do a good thing. If somebody said, I want to lose some weight, and I read a diet book or exercise book, you'd be like, oh, good for you. That's a good start. But if you just look at the book and read it, and even if you know everything about it, but you don't put it into practice, it's worthless.